Hello, myself Sunil Ramakrishnan. Here, basically, we are talking about the topic that is basically the attraction. Basically. And in attraction, basically, we saw that how basically the groups basically says that this generation is supposed to go and this generation is not supposed to go next. So, what is that next actually? Next, basically, you can say, for example, one person is telling that. Uh, Guruji, I'm basically not getting the job in basically software companies. Then he told that basically that means somebody has basically done some magic basically. Somebody has basically done some magic basically. So basically he told that what actually magic is. Magic means, for example, in the human resource, basically one system basically is created, which is basically mapped with the entire internet system basically, which is mapped with the entire internet system basically. For example, your user basically uh, um, is accessing some keywords basically. Assume that some keywords like don, mafia. Then basically they say that basically this keyword basically is not supposed to be in software industry. So they basically the HR department basically say that no, basically this keyword basically is not valid basically in the software industry. Then one person basically told that basically the missiles, the each and every equipment basically which is created just now, basically the war is happening. That basically each and everything basically is created from chips basically. That is basically the computer chips basically. Then this company should suppose to do ban or what? Then basically he told that basically if you basically can say that the dawn word, this word, that word, this for example romantic word, this all word basically is supposed to kept basically in the red light, red sign area. Red sign area means that person is basically not supposed to get called. Human resource basically is supposed to say that basically this person basically can't get the job basically. Then basically whatever the currently war happening basically, in this war basically America is taking participate, India basically is taking participate, Russia is taking participate. So this country basically should be banned basically. One person basically literally asked the question basically to the human resource basically. They basically was not able to do the action, give the answer basically. They says that basically we are not into the war basically. That's why basically we are totally outside the war basically. Then basically that human resource basically literally told like this, and they basically escaped it. They basically escaped it. Then that person basically was from India basically. Then one day basically the India basically also the war started there. Also basically the Indian military group basically started using missiles. They also basically started the things basically. They then basically one of the person basically the asked basically just do one thing, ban I mean Indian army also. Each and every people basically who are connected with the company in the Indian army, do ban them, do basically the ban to them also. They basically literally basically they were not supposed to say anything basically. Why? Because Indian army is basically heart of the India basically, right? They basically are telling that they are basically doing their duty basically. If the doing the duty basically is ban for human resource basically, then basically human resource basically is supposed to be exit from these companies basically. The Indian army literally told this basically. Then human resource basically was not able to tell anything basically. Human resource basically was not able to. They say that basically we are totally not into war basically. We basically say that we basically don't do war. We are basically totally against the war. Then literally that army person literally told that basically we are doing war basically just for you only basically. If you are basically not allowing our people to do the job, then basically you should get out from the IT industry. Sorry, the from the company industry only. Then basically who then the human resource basically group says that basically then who basically we are going to hire the resources, who basically are going to join give the offer letter to. Then basically they also told that basically then why basically you are doing the this type of activity, that if anybody types these all keywords, if anybody is watching the um, uh, in a war, basically Kargil war, this all are basically if anybody is watching, then basically his user ID basically is directly mapped with the HR department basically. Like this basically the system basically has created. For example, he's watching some clips basically, hidden clips, sorry, the romantic clips basically. So like this, then basically they that that the person basically told that to human resource basically, you are basically not married, you are basically not doing the sex, but you are not coming to company. Then basically, literally basically told this basically. This connects basically to the one of the Parliament House lecture also basically. One person basically told that basically he's watching sir romantic clips basically, watching romantic movie basically, not adult movies, too much not adult movie. Then basically the human resource group said this say told that basically why you watched the romantic movie. Then that person basically asked human resource people basically, you are not married. Then she told it, yeah, basically I am married. Then you are not doing the sex with your husband. She basically was not able to. Then basically you are not supposed to come to company basically, right? Then you are basically not supposed to come to the company only basically. If you are doing this type of activity, then basically she was not able to tell anything basically. So what actually this is? This is basically also the attraction basically. Attraction of basically you can say human resource rules and regulation. This basically literally basically human resource rule and regulation basically is attracted to this all basically side basically. This all side basically. So this was basically literally basically supposed to do the objection basically. If a particular person is basically watching some romantic movies clips basically, he basically his mobile number also sometimes basically the crime groups basically say that basically block this mobile number also basically. His mobile number is also not supposed to be picked by any of the resources basically. Then that cyber group basically was asked a question basically, you are not married. He told that yes, basically we are married basically. Then basically you are not doing sex with your wife or husband basically. Then they told that basically yeah we are doing. Then ban yourself also basically. If basically just moving watching the clips basically, if it's banned basically, then you should basically ban, you should also be, you should actually ban that also very powerful in powerful way basically, you should ban basically. We are basically just watching the movie clips basically, but you are basically literally having the sex basically. Then basically their rules and regulation basically they told that yeah basically you are correct basically, you are basically collecting. Then basically they told we basically have the license basically. We are basically the husband wife and the government has given the license basically that you can basically have a sex. That is basically the marriage certificate basically. So marriage certificate basically says that basically you can have a everything basically whatever you want to. Whatever basically you want, you should basically can do. So one person told that basically marriage basically doing is one basically punishment. One person basically literally asked basically the group basically who are into the human resource and doing the ban, they are basically uh, asking lots of things basically for the particular person basically, and he is not able to get the job. So basically he literally asked the question basically, you are not supposed to work in company basically because you have done the sex basically. Then one person told that basically there are basically lots of people basically who are boyfriend and girlfriend basically. They are basically doing the sex. Then basically they are also not supposed to do, not supposed to work in the company basically. Then one person asked, what about the Bollywood groups basically? They are also basically having the lots of relationship. then they are also not supposed to do the Bollywood movie basically. The people basically are not supposed to watch the movie of that particular person. They should ban the movie basically. The government should ban the movie basically. This was basically the interesting question and answer basically, which was basically raised basically. Literally basically, he basically told them. So what actually this is? Just now basically what I told. What actually this is? This is actually the rules and regulation attraction basically. So this is also one of the system basically, which is basically created, for the next generation, which is supposed to go next. And this basically connects lots of it's sometimes basically connects to universe basically. It sometimes connects to universe basically. How basically, that I will tell you. One person basically is doing marriage. So one thing basically in earth planet is, one is the rules and regulation, and another is basically who believes in God and who don't believe in God. So who basically believes in God, they basically go to temple, church and mosque basically, and they do the marriage with legally basically. And the another person basically, they don't believe in God, they basically done the registration marriage only. So here the two things are basically, one is God rules and another is basically the law rule basically. That is basically the registration done in the court basically. So that code basically says that basically, code basically what, that is the basically license, right? They basically say that it's a license basically, you can have basically a normal life basically. You can live together, you can do whatever basically. So what basically this is basically, if one person is basically just watching the clips, if one person is basically just watching the, he's just searching one keywords basically like Dawn, the, then basically one person asked the question basically, Shah Rukh Khan basically has done the movie of Dawn basically, then he should basically ban in the Bollywood industry. But he is basically more famous in India basically. He is basically more famous in India basically. Then also basically that person basically was not able to tell anything basically. Then basically he literally thought basically, the human resource group basically literally thought basically, what should we do now? But then basically one person told that this is basically literally Dadagiri basically. Dadagiri of one particular group basically. Then basically he told that in human resource basically lots of north people are basically there, like Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, and Madhya Pradesh and Delhi basically. So one person told that is they basically these groups are basically in human resource. That's why basically the problem is coming. Then he told that it's not like that basically. They are telling that they are just having the connection of system basically, and according to the system basically they are working basically. They are not doing anything basically. They are not doing any. They are basically not allowing this particular person to have a job basically. That person is basically not doing anything. The human resource is not doing anything. So the one person basically told that we basically have the power basically in human resource basically, that one person basically can get the job and one person can't get. If we want to do anything basically, then basically we can do basically. Then basically he told that basically this type of power basically who have basically. Then he told that basically human resource have basically, but that also basically top level human resource basically, who are basically directly connected with the top level businessmen like Tata Group, Reliance, then Aditya Birlas, then basically the Accenture, then Concentrates, then basically the Capgemini, then Mustech, I think Mastech or Mustech basically. Then eClarex is there. Then basically Patani computers are there. Like this IBM are there, Microsoft. These all are big companies. So these all are company basically are also basically connected with the owner group basically. They basically have the authority basically. This is one group, and another group is basically who basically are directly with the cyber group basically, who have full authority basically, who have basically full authority. They are basically directly connected with that cyber system basically. They can do basically. This is basically called what? This is basically called as a dadagiri. That they are telling that do whatever basically. We are not going to give you job. So this basically connects to the dadagiri. And one person told that basically dadagiri answer is supposed to be always supposed to give. The dadagiri answer is always supposed to give. Whoever basically is. Then basically one person told that basically one person basically can do anything. He basically from his energy basically can he basically able to do anything. Then he told that no basically I don't think basically one person basically can do anything. Then he told that basically one person basically if he is connected with the universe basically, if he say that basically earthquakes come earthquake in this all city basically, come earthquake in Bangalore, come earthquake in Delhi, come earthquake in Uttar Pradesh, come earthquakes in Delhi, Bangalore, Mumbai, come earthquakes in Chennai, come earthquakes in Delhi, come earthquakes in Gandhinagar, come earthquakes in Ahmedabad, come earthquakes in Pune, come earthquakes in Chennai. So if he says that basically the earthquake will come, no, basically it's not possible, right? If one person is basically telling that come earthquake and save basically that particular person basically, assume that I am basically not getting the job, and if I am telling that I Sunil Nair is telling that earthquake should happen in Delhi, Mumbai, Bangalore, Pune, Ahmedabad, Gandhinagar, Chennai, Hyderabad. This whole city basically should get earthquake basically. Then it's going to happen. No, basically, why it's going? Because who are basically what basically is my profile basically. What my profile is basically. I am just simple person, project manager basically. That also basically unemployed, not getting the job, trying the job basically, but not getting the job. So one normal person basically can do anything. No, basically, it's not possible basically. It's impossible basically that basically if the person basically says that earthquake should come in Mumbai because I visited the Mumbai and I have not got the job, so it's going to happen. No, it's not going to happen. Why? Because there is no value of Sunil R Nair in front of universe basically. If he is basically not able to get the one job basically, then basically there is no value of Sunil R Nair in earth planet also basically. Then basically how the earthquake will come basically. He was literally with the person basically who was connected with this Sunila forum basically. He told that basically no, basically that's not possible. Basically. That's basically not possible because you don't have any designation basically. You don't have anything basically. You don't have basically one vehicle also. That is basically the four wheeler. You don't have then basically how basically you can get the power basically. From where basically you are going to get the power. That person basically was literally shocked. Basically. Yeah, basically you are telling correct here. How basically Sunil Nair. Then basically he asked one question basically. If he then basically he told that basically I visited Mumbai basically, and if you watch my each and every videos basically nobody in software industry will say that basically he is not supposed to get the job. Everybody will say that basically yeah basically he should basically get the job basically. That also very in good post basically. Then basically why he's not getting the job basically? Few people basically will literally do the argument basically. Because few people basically say that basically we basically do the argument because it might possible that small issue basically might connect to big war basically. Then another person told that who are you basically to connect to big war basically? Who are basically you to connect to big war basically? Then basically he told that basically, yeah, basically that is also correct. Who are you basically to connect to big war? And war basically only do one thing, finishes the area. Nothing. If you say that war is happening in that country, basically, to country, then basically both country basically are going to suffer for long term. Basically, war only basically finishes the areas. But the another person basically told that basically it's a universal law basically created by one person basically. He basically want the sound effect basically. Then basically what you will do? Then basically the another person basically who's told that basically we are basically peace person basically. Then they will basically the peace group basically the another person told that basically peace group you basically stay away from this war basically. This only basically can happen because war will basically never stop basically because the requirement of the universe basically say that we want sound effect and we want this type of energies basically in this land area. Then basically what is the if the person basically has uh, got given the requirement as war was basically the solution, that means basically some group basically might have thought and done lots of R&D. Then basically they came into the conclusion that war is the only solution basically. War is the only solution. So basically the people basically who are doing the war and the people basically who told that basically the war is the only solution, they are few people says that these groups are fool. The war basically they are people are doing they are fool basically. The army groups are fool. The army groups basically are fool basically. One person basically told that we want this type of this type of sound effect in India basically. Then basically you have to do the war basically. There is no other option basically. You basically have to do the one person told that basically this particular land is attracting this India land is attracting to the towards that particular crores of planet basically, and crores of planet basically is coming towards Earth planet basically. Then basically he told that basically earthquake is the only option basically. If earthquake happens, then basically the chain effect basically gets break. And the another person told that basically you have told right that basically the planet basically is not going to attract. Then the another universe basically person told that basically yeah basically we have told that but that experiment basically we have to do when basically we feel that basically Earth planet is completely going to end. That day basically we can do this. Then basically he told that basically don't do this experiment. That is only basically fine. Basically earthquake will basically work. Earthquake basically will work. That is okay basically. So you can just see the solutions basically you are giving and if the problems basically occurring in front of the public basically. Literally basically. One person told that due to cricket basically the war basically is happening. Then another person told that basically cricket is also basically part basically. Small parts basically of the war basically. The another person told that cricket basically can't be stopped. Basically, if anybody wants to do some small little bit war, basically, they want just not too much of sound effects. Basically, just little bit. Then basically, cricket basically plays a little bit role. Basically, they basically do positive task also. Basically, I have taken one example of cricket. Basically, that example was basically you basically might be remembering that the lots of one person told that basically we want to collect this we want to collect 10 lakh crore money basically. So basically what is the easiest way basically? He told that what is the easiest way. He told that basically share market is also there basically. Share market is also there basically. He told that basically, but share market basically how basically we public should purchase the stock basically, and to purchase the stock basically, the public should trust the company basically, right? If the company is big basically, then basically they already have the money. They already have the money, right? Then how basically new company the people is going to trust basically that basically question basically raised. This type of each and every problem basically he told in front of the one person basically who's basically into the world creation. Then he basically given one solution basically. Like this basically you can collect the money basically. But the cricketer basically are not supposed to know basically that from one cricket basically 10 lakh rupees is basically getting collect. Mostly basically cricketer basically might not be knowing, but they might be knowing that lots of monies are basically getting circulated in the cricket basically, because if they are getting high profile security, the even the prime minister say that basically put the name of the stadium in of my name, like Narendra Modi Stadium. Then basically they literally say that yeah, basically cricket is basically earning lots of money. Sometimes basically the Bollywood groups comes to the cricket. Sometimes basically big businessman basically comes into the picture, comes to the theater. Sorry, the stadium basically. Then he was basically literally shocked basically. So the topic basically here was one person basically is supposed to one person basically his generation is supposed to go next. This basically decided by this all group basically. Here basically sports group also come. Why basically sports group? Because sports group have a power basically. For example, one person basically say that basically I have this much followers basically. I have this much followers basically. And he basically got the news from one of the person basically. That person is basically doing some bad to the Indian sports team basically. He is telling lots of things to the Indian sports and this that this basically. Then basically he got angry and basically written some tweet basically in the Twitter and in some Instagram and told that basically his generation is not supposed to go this that. Then basically the public basically got demand, got in demand. This basically literally happens basically, and this basically might have happened also because it takes slowly basically to get effect. One day basically one person told, another day another person told. Like this basically in in the brain of cricketer basically this keeps on moving. This keeps on moving. Another day basically. Like this basically after 1 month basically another person told. After 3 months another person told. Like this every month basically somebody tells. Then basically in their mind basically one day basically they are not in mood basically. That time basically they say that basically yeah basically we have to do some action. We have to do some action. So literally he basically takes the decision basically. He's just do one thing basically just finish his career wherever basically for example if he's doing job in the software company, just finish his career basically. And basically if you want to do any international effect then basically send him to some international country basically. Our friends groups are there like basically Dubai, Sharjah, Ajman, and there basically write that this person is not supposed to get the job, so do something that type of thing basically. Do something that type of thing basically. Then basically they do some activities. Sometimes basically they say that basically we have basically punished him so that basically he will never able to get the job. So basically they blacklisted his passport. Like this lots of things basically happens because they have the power and they basically uses the power. So this is basically one of the sports basically areas. Like same way basically the Bollywood basically also have the power. Bollywood groups also have the power. Like same way, basically the human resource group have the power. So here the one person basically told that the as much basically the big post basically you gets more power basically. So you are basically using the misuse of the power basically. For example, one Sunil Nair basically was poor person basically. He's basically poor person. That is me basically. I went to Mumbai basically literally beg for the job basically, and basically he was not able to get the job basically. Even basically he's having this much good knowledge basically. That means somebody has basically done something basically. That means somebody has done something basically. Even this type of basically the video basically which I have uploaded, Even basically Microsoft company basically also might not be knowing. Even basically the big company like Accenture, Capgemini, Patni, they also might not be knowing lots of things basically. Even the company owner basically, I'm telling. Even the company owners also basically might not be knowing lots of things basically. Then also basically he was not able to get the job. That means basically somebody is basically doing the dadagiri, that we will basically not going to give him job basically. So this basically attraction basically has occurred. This attraction basically has occurred. So basically why basically I have told my story only. Why basically I have told my story only? Because it's basically attraction effect basically. Like this basically one person story, like this another person story, like this another few persons story basically are there basically. Few persons basically stories are there basically. One person told that basically we have access of each and every laptops. We can do anything basically inside the laptop basically. We can do anything inside the laptop basically. He told that basically we can do anything from inside the laptop of each and every person basically. Then basically he told that basically this type of power also basically the people have. Then just basically see basically the power basically. So this all basically comes into the system basically. Harvard University, Oxford University basically. They basically creates their own system basically. If for example their people basically are doing something like that basically, then what basically the punishment they should give. So that basically is also there. But literally basically punishment is misuse of power basically. Misuse of power basically. That also basically you can see. But this each and every activity is basically we are each and every people basically are doing that generates the energy basically. And that when the generates the energy basically by default basically the energy company don't have the time basically, they literally picks the energy and then basically directly they sends the energy to the universe, and the energy basically gets generated. And sometimes basically few energies are so powerful basically that literally create problem in universe also basically, if they are getting the problem basically. But this type of energy basically very less are there basically. Few people's energies are up to that level basically, they creates problem to entire universe. But that basically very less people in 1 crore people basically one or two people might be, because they have done and they basically say that we have done nothing basically bad to any of the people basically, then basically why we should be get this type of treat, that type of people. So that is basically also different topic basically. Now here the thing is basically the next generation should go and the next generation is not supposed to go. For that basically this is also one of the system basically. So now basically till now basically we have discussed 3 to 4 systems. Now basically one person basically told that we uh, uh, few friends basically told that basically sorry few company basically told that basically we basically don't want this person in our IT industry. So they basically given few ideas basically. So what are those ideas basically that basically we are going to discuss in next part.